When celebrating Ramadan, we're not allowed to have food because that they can't eat, we can't drink because they're not supposed to drink during the day. I've had to work with these people. That's so cool. I've worked with people who celebrate Ramadan. You get to eat. They can't eat. You get to drink. They can't. If you want to talk about who's imposed their religious beliefs onto others, what do you think Christianity is? What time of year do all of us get off for 2 weeks? Christmas, which is to celebrate what? Easter, which is to celebrate what? And the people who were here for 40,000 years, indigenous people, you say you're indigenous. I don't think you're indigenous. The people who were indigenous here, they weren't Christians. That was forced upon them via residential schools, which the goal was to beat the Indian out of the child. I don't know, if anyone's forcing something upon other people, I would probably say it was the Christians that came to Canada. But then if we want to go a step further, you said that indigenous people are going to lose everything because Indians are coming here and forcing us to give up our culture. And I said, quickly, define the culture. You can't. Because Canadian culture, the whole entirety of the country is multiculturalism. Because the entire country of Canada is based on immigration plus indigenous people. My ex is Asian. They celebrate their new year. The casino decorates for it. British people don't. I can go to British pubs. I can go to Irish pubs. There's Indian food places. There's sushi. There's literally food from all over the world. But do you know what? I can't really go and find a restaurant for indigenous food. Maybe see one food truck that has bannock. Now, why is that? That's because Christians came to Canada and tried to erase indigenous culture and history. And here's the caveat that you seem to be missing as an indigenous person is they were unsuccessful. Despite 150 years of trying to commit a genocide against a group of people, they failed. They failed to do so. Do you think that people immigrating from India and coming to Canada is going to be successful in doing so? I think you're a white guy. You know, when I moved to Vancouver, I'm part of groups of new people moving to Vancouver. It's largely Australians, Irish. There are some East Indians for sure, but also British. They all hang out together. They have little pockets, little areas. Kitsilano is filled with British and Irish immigrants. You just don't designate them as immigrants because their skin color. You guys all have a really big issue with the fact that a lot of East Indian people congregate in Surrey or Brampton. How many major cities in Canada have Chinatowns? Right. I come from Thunder Bay, Ontario. There's a whole area that's just like Finnish people and Italian people. Yeah. Birds of a feather flock together. People who feel comfortable with other people tend to group together. But do you want to talk about gentrification? You want to talk about the white people that come from Canada and the United States, go to places like the Philippines because they want a cheaper price to live? You want to talk about the passport bros who go to those impoverished countries because they have more lax age of consent laws? You want to talk about culture? You want to talk about what the men from our countries are doing in other countries? They just had a sting operation in Calgary who busted men trying to entice indigenous children, teenagers, all not from their nations. Right, because it's never about culture, it's about supremacy.